Hi, my name is Jocelyn Moon. I am here with Sammy Marsh, and we are going to do a problem solving interview today. Okay, let's get started. Anyway, so thank you for meeting with me today to do this
Absolutely.
interview. How long have you been working at the Child Development Center?
For about 10 months, I would say, maybe 8 months. Yeah.
Okay. And what is your position?
Educational aid.
Okay.
Yeah.
How have you enjoyed your time in this position?
Not really, unfortunately. It's a place that, I've done this job before and I absolutely loved it. And I knew coming here, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this job. I'm going to do it the exact same thing, get the same age group that I always work with the kids. But it was a completely different environment, completely different rules, um, different structure from what I'm used to.
What was your experience at your previous Child Development Center?
Well, it was my first, so it was kind of hard in the beginning to get adjusted to all the rules of what to do, what not to do, because it comes naturally to you that you want to nurture kids, you want to help them, physically, but you have to step back and be like, no, you can't do it yourself. And it was more I was with a 4-year-old, 4.5, and 5 years old.
Okay.
And we're basically teaching them from, just playing to social skills to um, the alphabets, the numbers, all the aspects of learning.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you ever experienced unfair treatment in your previous position?
No, I haven't. We were a very well diverse center with different backgrounds, different native languages, and I think that made it easier. I'm assuming. Plus, it was in a different kind of a country, I would say, or state, because that state had a lot of people coming from everywhere, and their culture was very accepting and very friendly and very forgiving in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was in Hawaii that you were working at the Child Development
In
Center?
Oahu. Yep.
Okay. What about now? Have you experienced unfair treatment?
Yes, I believe so because I started working in April and I've been in April 2017, and I've noticed when we got hired, it was like a mass hiring event where they had about 52, 56 people being interviewed, and like you go through the whole system of interview and all that. So I got to meet a lot of different personalities and different people, and I would say half of that amount worked in the center that I'm working at.
Okay.
And I've noticed from the beginning, from training week all the way to now, that the management, certain people get treated better than everyone else in any kind of aspect, like the way you talk, the way you treat, the way you handle these people. And I think, you try to say, okay, maybe the manager just was not in a good mood today. Maybe the manager was stressful. Or maybe the manager had too much on her plate. Like, you can,
Right.
you get, to me at least, where I learned from my own family and culture that whenever someone does anything that makes you sad or upset or, angry, that you're like, okay, maybe there's a reason for them to do it. It's not just out of the bloom. It's just not because they want to do it to you.
Right.
You try to think, no, maybe, she's just not in a good mood right now. Maybe she has too much on her plate. So I've seen that throughout the time since I've been there, and I've only noticed it was different when I was pulled out of my classroom to help in other classrooms because we're, when vacations or people had to leave, you have to help out a little. So when I did that, I just noticed, okay, obviously she does not talk to me like she talked to this person or that person in this classroom. And I go to, like, it was about, I would say it was in summer because a lot of people were going on and off for their vacation. So I had to go into 3 different rooms to help out certain hours, certain duties. And I noticed for sure the way that I was treated and the way that other people were treated, it was not the same.
By one specific individual. By one particular person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I mention?
Sure.
I'm not gonna mention names, but It's my manager, the director of the center.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the one that I've noticed I've been having problems that are, she seemed to be unaware of when I confronted her, but it was definitely from day one because it cannot be. And I also went through like, I'm like, hey, my director said this to me, and she was acting this one. They're like, oh no, she was not acting the same way with us. She came in, she told us basically the same thing, but in a very nice way and very
Right.
um, in a way that's not gonna get anyone angry. And I was like, no. I specifically remember because I was just sitting down, doing a project, and then all I see is my director coming in yelling, and I was like, oh, she's not yelling at me.
Mm-hmm.
And then looking around, there's no one in the room but me. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, you're talking to me? She's like, yeah, who do you think I'm talking to? And I was like, oh, I have no clue what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be something like that day, I was helping another teacher to cut out fishes for her project. And she was like, she stormed in the room with papers in her hand, like, body language wise, it was very violent. Tone wise, attitude wise, energy wise that she was sending, it was very demeaning, was very
powerful.
Yeah, that I was like, okay, trying, like to stay calm. And she was saying that basically I was lying with everyone else and we didn't provide the truth to her. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she said, well, you guys said that you have done observations for you to start work. And that's why I asked you guys to go clean up the storage because there was nothing else for you to do till you get cleared to work.
Okay.
And I said, that's not what I said. And I'm pretty positive that everyone else did not say the same thing. So we think it was a lot of miscommunication, but it seemed that miscommunication was an ongoing thing with her.
And this person is in a high enough authority position that they should really understand what's going on. They shouldn't be that confused.
Yes, and she's been doing the job for, I believe she said, more than 30 years.
Okay.
And I know with the military you get to travel all around and you get to, so I guess her career was started with her being a military spouse. So she did the whole process of being a education aide and then a trainer and did the whole thing and went from that to a director.
Okay.
Through all experiences, but she went through so many years traveling with her husband, and I guess this is the first time she's on orders to come to this place. So her husband is retired and he's with her. So I think also her background of okay, now I'm the one who's making the money, I'm the one who's making the moves, but not really thinking. I don't think she's thinking properly when talking to people, because you would notice that she would have the higher ranking you are, the more nicer she is to you, the more careful she is, the more she will cater to you, even if it means pushing other people, pushing the law.
If she sees potential in you, or if she just likes things about you.
Well, there's two things. Ranks matter to her, so the higher ranking you are,
your husband,
or your husband, yep.
Okay.
Because normally we're all working and it's with our husband. So the higher ranking your husband is, she's nicer and do all the things. And if you're for very specific race like hers.
Okay. What is her nationality?
Filipino.
Okay.
Yeah. And personally, I thought, okay, I'm noticing it and knowing that she's really nice to any other Filipino, no matter what background that is, as long as you look or you act, you talk like a Filipino person. Because I know some people, they're Filipinos, but they don't speak Tagalog, which is the Philippines language.
Okay.
But she would even say, how can you not, she would make some sort of racist comments at the Filipino American people, how can you're not speaking this language, how come you're not, So I noticed if you're with her race, then she would treat you nice and do the same thing. So I think these two factors, she definitely cares a lot instead of anything else.
Okay. Tell me more about the ICE complaint that you ended up filing against her, did you feel like you were being discriminated against because of
Yes.
your race or because of the rank of your husband? Like, what made you feel like she was targeting you aside from her like body language? Why do you think
Yeah.
that she felt that way towards you?
Well, first of all, I had to write down the things that were happening because it was just like her coming in. Like it was. So let me just start saying. It was the way that she talked, the way she was treating me. I don't think it was specific reason. I think she just like thought I'm just like probably nobody to her, and it doesn't really matter. I'm here to work, and she just basically do whatever she wants because she's the boss. Because I tried to put a reason for her treatment towards me.
Right.
I couldn't find a reasonable reason, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And I know when it came to like writing things down, it would be like her yelling at me in front of other parents when they drop their kids or when they pick up their kids. It would be in front of other peers, in front of the children. And it was like there's a lot of things that have happened that to me I was like, you know what, there's no more excuse I can give. It's obviously that she doesn't like me. I don't know why. I don't think that I gave her a reason because coming from a background from like the same job that I've done, I was like, I'm just doing my job. I'm not here to do anything else. And I remember like one of the things I was from the last thing that it was enough for me. When I first got hired, I said, listen, before coming here, we have vacation plans. In October, my in-laws are coming in at this time, and in November, my sister was due to give birth, and it was like sometime the end of the month, and then a week before that will be my cousin getting married. So it's like, hey, I'm gonna take time off for these 2 days. But I told her way like when I got hired that this is gonna happen.
Right.
Getting close to these times, about 2 or 3 months before these important dates, when I put in leave, she told me it's disapproved, and she was telling me that I take too much time off. First of all, I have a right to take time off if I wanted to. I earn my hours. And if I ask for something, like the only times if I asked for time off, it would be for something that I was very clear with the reasons. Like, hey, my AC is broken. And being here, they give us limit times. Like, so they're gonna come in from 9 a.m. to noon. Exactly. So you have to be in your house.
Right.
And with my husband working, I'm the only one in the house, so I have no one to be there around. So when I told her these things, she was like, sure, just come back when it's done. And I would do that. I will go in, get my problem solved, I come back to work, and it's all good. But then apparently, when she was to me disapproved, I was really upset. I'm like, no, that's not fair. I told you from the beginning. And she was telling, and then she literally, I'll never forget this. She walked in the classroom at 7 a.m. in the morning, opening the door, and we had like about 12, 13 kids, 3 different teachers in the class with me. And she said, you take too much time off. Every time you're taking time off, I can't approve of this. I can't just let this happen. And I said, what are you talking about? She said, you put leave for these days. And I was just like, looking at her, I'm like, is this normal that we have an office for a reason? And then she said,
professionals.
It was very unprofessional in all sort of aspects. And I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. And then when I put an ICE complaint saying, okay, so you mistreated me, you were yelling at me, you did this and that, and then you tell me on top of it that I take time off all the time, that was not true. You lied. You told me that I put time off for October, November, December, and January, even though I did not. And I only put for the dates that I've already spoken to her. And beforehand, if I took some time off, it would be with hours that I've earned, and it was all.
And you're entitled to benefits
too. And it's not like I've been off for so long. I will be 1 day off for a trip that I'm coming back because I plan my trips on the weekend. So it wasn't even like a time that I took a whole week off because I wanted to. No. So that was the end for me. And then when I put the ice complaint, I made it very clear it was more than a reason for me to complain about the situation. It was the unfair treatment, in all kind of ways, and then she was never being supportive in the classroom that I was in.
Okay.
And then when I put the ice complaint, I put in 4 different reasons why I thought she was mistreating me with, and they were all examples of what happened.
Okay.
And then I put in as a solution, in my opinion, will be either I'd be out of the center or she'll be out of the center, because I don't think there's any solution for it, to be honest.
Because it was so personal.
Yeah, I took it very personal when I saw like she's not treating other people the same way she treats me, and it's just unprofessional that you do that to your employee in front of other people, in front of kids, and it's like it throws off the whole dynamic of work, if that makes sense.
Right. And then
Yeah.
you feel like you are not looking forward to going to work every day.
No, not at
because
all.
you're
It
facing
was
that treatment.
yeah. It was something I was really happy getting that job. I got the age that I wanted, I got it the place that I wanted, like everything that I wanted, I got. But then going to bed at night, knowing that I have to work the next day, my anxiety goes over the roof. Like it got so personal, and I was like, why is it work should not be like that.
Yes.
But then when I put the ice complaint, I kind of got a slap on my hand for doing so, because it said why I did not go and talk to someone. And I said I did talk to someone. I went and talked to a couple of people, and I think these people would give me a different answer, because I've been told to go to my lead, and my lead goes to the trainer, and the trainer goes to the director. And I said, well, first of all, I don't feel comfortable telling people my problem. I don't think they have a hand in it. I don't think they're going to do anything. I asked people that I thought might help me, like a trainer, a social worker. Yes, but other than that, I don't think anyone can help. And I know they mentioned that I should have talked to someone about it, but I did not believe that it would have worked.
Okay.
Because when I saw her treating someone else bad, I said, "How come? Are you okay with it?" And they said, "Oh, it's okay. She's old. She's not going to change." And I was like, "No, that's not a good reason.
Yeah.
When you're being a director, you're picked from everyone else for the qualifications you have, for the social skills you have, for like your skills have to be the best from all applicants."
Right.
And that's why you're chosen, and I think you should, and it's a big task, but obviously she's really not she's not capable of these. So that's, to me, I don't think it's a reason if someone, and I don't think if I even talked to her, I would think from all the treatment she was disregarded and said, "No, I did not do that." Because when I put the ask complaint, that's what she said. She said, "No, I always thought that you were doing a good job." I said, "You never told me anything positive. You were very fast in telling me the negative. It was very, work was very demeaning with you." Like I literally put in the phrase, "It's been a hostile work environment."
Okay.
Because that's exactly how I felt being at work.
Right.
And then I remember her answer was, "No, I think that you're a pretty girl and your hair looks so pretty." And I said that we're talking about black and white. I came here because of a problem that I think you're treating me different, and you answer me that way is not the right way.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Be honest here.
Yeah. And I said that, and I told her, like, I've written down certain times, the time, the date, what she was wearing, how she was acting, and what did she say towards me. And she said, "No, I don't have that clothes. No, I don't wear that." I did not say that. I said, "Well, I have the time. I know the exact fabrics that you were wearing." And when I said it, she just denied it. She said no.
Wow.
Yeah. So to me, it's like, okay.
It's discouraging.
It's very discouraging, even though I'm not trying to lie. I'm not trying to exaggerate. I'm just trying to list the facts with evidence. Because I can say, "Oh, this happened." When? I don't know. But it's different when I say, "No, it happened, and you were wearing this, and your hair was this way, and you were standing in that position in that classroom." And we have cameras. If anything, they could have looked it up.
Mhm.
And I continuously was saying, I'm not lying and I'm not making things up.
Mhm.
Because that's how she insinuated the whole thing. She's like, oh no, that didn't happen. No, this is so and that pretty much confirmed that the 1% hope that I thought it might really work if I talked to her, it wouldn't. She
Mhm.
denied everything, and she was replying and changing the topic at every point that I mentioned. So it was kind of like, that's why you get the sense of certain people when you know nothing's gonna change,
Mhm.
and she was definitely one of them.
Do you feel like you also wanted to address this to like other management because you wanted to prevent her from treating other people this way if she was treating others like that?
Well, the person who got the complaint and talked to me about it um, said that the director does not do those things, and she said that I could have talked to
She
her.
didn't take it into consideration.
No, and she said, you know what, but you need to sit down and talk to her. So she had a bit of a good point, but she even told me, how come you don't come talk to me? I said, you hang out with her. I see you. So it's kind of like,
Conflict of interest.
yeah, and I know that it's not going to do anything. If I talk to you, you're going to pass it to her. So I want to make it formal, and I wanted someone to know like all these points and everything that have happened, and that I needed it to be dealt with professionally, because I believe that the system should, make it work. But that was my answer. I said, no, you hang out with her, and I don't think you would take my side or believe me or think, I would think you would just brush it off and that's it.
So then is that what ended up happening? They just said you should talk to her.
Yeah. And and she said, well, if I find any opening jobs, because I did mention that I want her to leave or I want to leave, like I don't want to be here. They said once they have an opening at a different center, they would transfer me. But I've been trying to transfer 2 months before I put in that ICE complaint. So.
And you still aren't transferred?
Nope.
So what has her treatment been to you since this whole situation?
In the beginning, she would not talk to me. She would talk to someone. It's like like she would talk to someone, and I'm hearing it, so I can do what she's asking me to do. But we got to a point, like I showed her, like I don't care that that's have done. It's the past. We just want to start. And I told her this after we talked. Listen, I want to start a new page. I do not want to have this as a problem. I'm talking about it so I can get it over with and we solve it and that's it.
Right.
Definitely interested in still leaving, but I'm not gonna make it, no, you treat me this way, then I'm gonna not listen to you or you're gonna be my enemy.
Right.
So she has been talking more in a nicer way to me, and she definitely does not treat me like she used to before, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's still, there's a lot of things that as a manager or a director, it should have changed. She still treat other people better. She would put certain ethnicity ahead first.
So do you feel like the situation is still kind of unresolved, or that you still aren't happy with the outcome?
Well, I'm not really happy with it because even though she changed the way she talked to me, but at the same time, it's
not equal to others.
It's not equal, and it's something that if you're treated in a certain way and then someone else gets treated like you're what do you call it, a second citizen? I don't know what's the term, but like you're okay, but there's someone who's better than you, just because we share the same race or we share the same culture, which I think is really unfair. And I think I've came across different managers, and that's one of the things I told her. I said, I went through different managers. I had the really firm and strict and by the book, and I had the ones that didn't even care about anything. But as long as you're fair with everyone, that's the point. I don't care who you are, what's your personality. But if you're fine, if you're fair with everyone else, that's all that matters. Because it's a work environment. We get to spend 8 hours of our day in that place, and if it's toxic, it's kind of unhealthy, and it just builds up. And I remember when I talked to her, I told her that I said, like I wanted those days off because I told you ahead of time. She said, but I was nice to you. I gave you those days off that you wanted when you had your AC was broken. And it really made me like laugh. I said, but I used my hours. I earned them. You were not nice to me to give it to me out of nowhere. It was hours that I earned. Yeah, it was not a favor. It was something that I'm not asking you to clock me in and I can just go and do something and come back. No, I was not at work, but I used my own hours I worked for so hard. So that was her. I think that's the culture that she comes with. Like, oh no, if you're nice to me, I'll do you a favor. And I don't think that's the right thing to do.
Right.
That's a very wrong way of thinking, especially in that position.
Right.
Yeah.
So overall, you would say that she is like abusing the position that she's in and using it for
Absolutely.
Like she's just not being fair to her workers.
No, and I've seen a lot of people also put complaints but no one have done the ICE complaint. That would try like, okay, like, you know, you've done this, you've done that, but when you have someone with the same repetitive habits, you need to break those habits. And to me, an ICE complaint definitely broke the cycle. I don't think it would always 100% resolve it, but at least it would stop the cycle of those habits.
Right.
And I tell people, like, you know, I'm happier now because I put the ICE complaint and she knows that she cannot step on me again like she did before, where she treated me that way. Right. So I don't think personally people are brave enough to put, because you have to put your name. And you don't want to be that person that put the ICE complaint, because everyone would know and be like, oh yeah, you, of course, like, you know, it's something that that system has been put for a positive thing, but it has a stigma, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people might say that, like a snitch or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't look at it especially if you're a worker, like my coworkers, and oh, how could you do this? Like, because I need a resolution for my problem. I can't be full with anxiety coming to work. And being here, we're very limited with the jobs. Even though I asked for everything that I wanted, obviously I'm the unhappiest person in my environment. And I had to figure out a solution, even though it might not be the best, but it's definitely better than, you know, just quitting and then like having, you know, I think it's also unfair in letting her treat other people the same way, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were in her shoes, do you think that you would be able to notice the unfair treatment, or do you think that that is just who she is?
I can't really say because I never knew her on a personal level, and I told her, you're my director. You're being chosen for that role for a reason. And I think whoever, I'm sorry to say this out loud, but I really think whoever chose her to be director made a really bad choice. I really think you can have a really good career, it's like you have to have an overall good package for you to be chosen to be in that powerful position.
Right.
Because if you have any problem, if you're a type of person, if you're not willing to fix it or get better, it will be horrible for everyone else. And I think from my personal experience, I don't think she needs to be in that position. She does not seem to be a person that she's willing to change in a better way. It's like she's stuck in this habit of hers that, okay, I'm going to do it this way, you know, yeah, you're higher ranking, so you're going to be, don't worry, going to be on the top of my list, or I'm going to faster the process for you because you're high, like, you know what I mean? It's a way of thinking that I think it doesn't really change as well, if that makes sense. I don't know if she would notice. I like to believe that the higher you get in your position, the more understanding, the more you take notes and you pay attention to details. But I don't think everyone is up to that position. That's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Would you like to add anything else?
Not really. I have nothing to say, to be honest. I think you pretty much covered it all.
Okay.
I know I'm like way better now with the whole problem. Before you used to me, I'd be like, just shoot me like already. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not gonna kill myself. It's just the wrong way. I was just kidding. But you know what I mean. Like it was so negative that it was just affecting me in all sort of way in my health wise. But I'm glad it's halfway through, and I can't wait to quit that job and find something else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
think we're done here.
Yep.